Hi guys, how's it going? Happy New Year's Eve. I hope you're all having a great day so far. It's really mild today, isn't it? I haven't done any chili dipping this winter and I was like, today would have been a really good day to get in the sea because it's super mild, but I'm still not going to do it. For some reason, I'm just not there this winter. My focus and my attention is somewhere else. Anyway, I digress. So for any of you that follow me, you will have seen I did a post on Facebook in my VIP group and also on Instagram, and it said how to be happy with what you have whilst working towards what you want. And it's like the $1,000,000 question. You know, we're all getting given these messages all the time, aren't we? You know, think big. What are your aspirations? What are your desire? What are your goals? What are you working towards? What's your future-based self like? What's your future desires going to be? And then we also get given all these other messages to say, practice the attitude of gratitude and be grateful for what you've got. And it's like a tug of war, isn't it? That goes on between, we know that mindfulness and being present is unbelievably beneficial and good for our health. And if you follow like the likes of like Eckhart Tolle and the power of now and that kind of stuff, all of that information is so valuable. But how do we live in a society and live in our life being present while still planning for the future? Now, I'm going to be really honest. I don't really have the answer. All I can tell you is what I've experienced and what I have been practicing and what works for me. So although I'm a life coach and I'm a mentor and I'm an NLP practitioner, I'm not going to have all the answers because no one ever does, because we're all on a journey. We're all discovering different things dependent upon where you are in your growth and in your development and in where you are in your own personal transformation. Now, for those of you that know a little bit more about me will know that I had a bit of a breakdown about 5 years ago. And off the back of that breakdown, I had a huge transformation. I made some big lifestyle changes, made lots of big decisions, moved away from anybody I felt like was either toxic or wasn't supporting my well-being or the direction that I wanted to take my life in. I quit my well-paid job. I then qualified as a life coach. So I am still somewhat, well, we all are, aren't we? We never reach a place where we go, that's it, I'm sorted. You know, we're always working on ourselves, aren't we? So how do we be happy whilst working towards what you want to have happen? I think from my personal experience, there's a sweet spot somewhere in the middle. Now, if you're anything like me, I absolutely love plans. I love plans. I love thinking big. One of my biggest attributes is my ambition, but it's also to my detriment because I think big. I've always got loads of big goals and sometimes I have too many. And of course, it's not always realistic to reach them all, which can end up leaving me feeling a little bit deflated. But I do have big dreams. I do have big ambitions and I'm always moving the goalpost on myself to get further along because I like it. I like testing myself and I like seeing why am I here? Why am I alive? What is my purpose? So when I talk about the sweet spot, one of my biggest wake-up calls is quite often, as most people do, we say, I'll be happy when. I'll be happy when I get my dream man. I'll be happy when I get my dream car. I'll be happy when I have thousands of pounds in the bank and I'm earning money in my sleep, which is a really, really sad place to be, but all of us have done it. I've been guilty of it in the past, and I'd say I'm guilty of it from time to time still now because it's a skill and it is something that you do need to practice. So so if you think of it like a spectrum, so you've got your spectrum of being in the future, and then you've also got your spectrum of being potentially locked into the past, you know, where you maybe still stewing over traumas, all that kind of stuff. But there's a sweet spot somewhere in the middle where you can wake up every day knowing that you are worthy of all that you desire, which starts with deep self-love. And that's when my transformation really kicked in, is when I started to really explore my spiritual side, my relationship with earth and a higher power and what power I have within me that's when I started to really like myself. And I don't mean that from an arrogant or egotistical point of view, but what I mean is I started to reach a point where I could validate myself and I wasn't waiting on external events to validate me. Of course, from time to time, it's great when you hit those victories and people are praising you and you're getting loads of likes on your posts. You know, it's human nature to want others to go, oh God, isn't she doing great? You know, to be desired and to be thought of as somebody who's doing well. There'll always be an aspect of me that really like basks in the glory of that, and I think we all do. But to be reliant upon that in order to feel good about yourself is a vulnerable place to be. Excuse me. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my vision board, excuse me. And if you haven't done a vision board yet for either 2022 or for the next 5 years, I'm going to give you a few little pointers, and then I'm going to talk a little bit more about the sweet spot, about how to be happy where you are whilst working towards what it is that you want. So it's really detailed, so you're probably not going to be able to make much sense of it, but I'll break it up into chunks. So it's pretty big. Now, I did this vision board when I was working with a coach. I can't remember if it was 2 years ago or 3 years ago. Even though I'm a life coach, I always still hire other coaches to help me. And that's a little tip, by the way. If you've ever hired a coach, one of the first questions you should ask them is, who coaches you? Because we never stop learning, we never stop developing, and a coach is there to hold up the mirror to show you things that you need to see. And from time to time, I'm not going to see what I need to see, and that's why I always still work with other coaches and mentors. Now, this coach, she's also a therapist. Kim Rutherford, highly recommend her. She's just got a book that's come out called 8 Wise Ways. So she follows a format of 8 wise ways, and this is how she encouraged me to do my vision board, following 8 areas. So you probably can't really see it, and my light is my ring light reflecting upon it. But basically, if you're gonna do it, I think this is a really good way. So it's 8 areas. Let's see if I can turn that around a little bit. So the first area is emotional health. So I've got things down like unshakable self-esteem, full self-acceptance, high confidence, high emotional intelligence, self-esteem, feeling sexy and confident in myself, deep self-love, never feeling insecure, high confidence, and I communicate my feelings with ease. The next section is intellectual growth and personal development. So these are all the things that I'd love to do, like hobbies and personal development. I'd love to learn how to do burlesque dancing. I'd love to learn to ski. I'd love to learn to play the guitar. I'd absolutely love to get trained by Wim Hof and Dr. Joe Dispenza. The next section is money and financial growth. I'd love to be a millionaire and make money while asleep so that it gives me the freedom, but I've also put on there that I'm never affected by my wealth in terms of like getting too big for me boots. I run high profile retreats. Money loves me and needs me. We need each other. I own multiple properties. And then the next section is occupation and achievement. So I've put on there complete internationally on Toastmasters, accomplished public speaker, inspiring talks, TED Talks. I'd even love to do stand-up comedy. I don't know if I'd ever get there, but I'd love to have the confidence to do that, knowing that you could be really shit, but still do it anyway. Be on the front of magazines, well-known international coach doing high vibrational work, and have my own book. Now, the next section is around friends and family and love. So I've put on there like-minded, very supportive friends, lasting love and connection, potentially get married. I'm not really bothered about kids. Got my cold water there. The kind of like deep love and spiritual connection that I'd want with my partner. The next section is environment. So I've got down here, my dream is to have a house in the Lake District near the trees and near the woods. I'd also love to have a home in Lake Garda in Italy. I'd love to be able to fly first class every year to see my sister. I'd love to have an amazing house where me and my husband have an office each so we don't get in each other's way. An absolutely gorgeous car. Have cleaners and cooks that I trust. And then I would absolutely love for my health and physical body to be to the point where I've got like a gorgeous flat stomach, tight pelvic floor, I'm strong, I can do handstands, I can do pull-ups, I've got healthy gut, healthy mind, I'm strong. And then the last one is spiritual health. So I put down here that my intuition is my superpower. I've got a strong hold of my ego. I have a great connection with Mother Earth. I'm kind. I only attract beautiful, kind people. I vibe so high that toxic people don't know how to be near me and they naturally disappear. A conscious living, expanding consciousness, and then I have a sexual and soul connection with my partner, with lots of meditations and everything going on. So this was initially a 10-year plan. So I must have been about 41, I think, maybe 42, 43. I can't remember when I did it. I'll have to look back on the date. Anyway, big dreams, big aspirations. Now, could you imagine if I woke up every day and felt like, oh my God, that's never gonna happen. That's so far away. What would happen is my energy would be in a state of lack. So one of the biggest things, again, that I've learned since undergoing my transformation is understanding my energy, understanding that all of my thoughts and my feelings create an energy, create a vibration, emits out into the universe, then attracts or either repels people and brings people in. It also attracts certain events at the same time. So now I've realized that if I'm in a position of noticing that all of the things that I desire are missing, I go into a state of desperation and lack, which means I'm in a low frequency. So for me, the sweet spot is finding somewhere in the middle where I wake up every day, really channeling into those feelings of gratitude and saying, I am blessed and I am absolutely loving this journey of reaching and working towards my goals, and just having this like rod of trust running through me and knowing that what's right for me will come to me and what's wrong for me will go away. And that to me is just the best faith that I could possibly have. I don't necessarily believe in a God per se, but I do believe in a higher power. So when I do meditate or I do talk out loud, I do connect with higher power and say, I am genuinely grateful for everything I have right now, but it would be great if I could move into the next phase of then reaching those things that I want to create the value that I want to create and having the impact that I want on the world. So for me only, I'm not saying it's for everybody, but from what I've learned, you know, if you might have heard of Esther and Jerry Hicks, they were a couple, but Esther channels Abraham Hicks, and she's talked lots about what does she call it now? I forgot the name of it. Vortex, that's it. She talks about being in the vortex. So when you see her on stage and people are saying, oh, all this shit's going on and actually I really want that, she's like, you can't get to it from there. You can't get to it from there because what are you feeling right now? You're feeling, she doesn't say shit, but that's the impression that I get. You can't get to that over there while you're feeling so shit for what you've got right now. So for me, it's such a corny saying, but you know, it's like that. It's not a destination, it's the journey. There's probably a better way of saying it. And that for me was the most groundbreaking awareness I probably could have ever experienced. Is you can't say I'll be happy when that happens. Happy right now, grateful right now, loving the journey, the ups and the downs, while still having aspirations and desires for greater things for within your life. And it doesn't necessarily mean like, you know, fix my hair, materialistic things. You know, for me, it's like have all of those wants and needs and desires for those, but it's about like inside in your heart, in your soul, like what transformation do you want to go through internally? Like what healing might you still need to go through in order to vibrate high and really feel those feelings of worthiness. So when you feel worthy of what it is that you desire, you will increase your energy, increase your frequency, and attract those things. So whatever's going on in your life right now is a direct result of all the decisions you've made up until this point. Yet there might have been a little bit of bad luck along the way, but even then, I do think we make our own luck. When things happen to us, I do think somehow, somewhere, it still comes from us. So snap out of any victim mindset that you've got and really take responsibility for your life and really go into that, focusing on the positives, focusing on the things that make you feel good, really, really noticing all the great things about yourself, the great things about your life, the great things about your relationships, and then ask the universe, ask yourself, what do you want to have happen? Put it out there and trust the journey along the way. So for me, that's the sweet spot. So I hope I have somehow answered the question if you were looking forward to hearing what I had to say. But like I say, I'm just going to be honest, I don't know everything. Nobody does. We only know what we know for where we are within our journey and within our life. Anyway, I'm going to leave you there. Enjoy the rest of your New Year's Eve. I am having a very wholesome one. I did indoor climbing this morning. I'm about to meet my friend at 2 o'clock for some cake and coffee. And then I'm going to come home and I've set myself a challenge to read a book. I might split it in half and do the other half tomorrow, and then I'm going for a 5k run in the morning with park run. So have a great evening, and hope that you tune in to any of my other future videos. Mwah!